There we go. This means it will cut off some of the interface. As you can see, like we got some black lines, like we're removing that area and that area of the screen so that we get the 1080 picture. Transition. Now we hope that that game actually starts. Go, game, go. Probably not. Too much going on in the background. Oh, it's working. It's working. My audio is a bit loud. And I usually just don't play with audio because the building block audio is like dunk, 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 dunk. So you're listening to thunk, thunk. The sound of thinking all day. Alright, remove all the random shit. I do not want to quick load. I do not. I want graphics. I want. Let's put it down just a notch for streaming purposes. Yes, we could put the game actually to this aspect ratio, and then we just put it in a window. No, that doesn't work. Let's keep it full screen. That's also for me, like I'm playing games full screeny. Wait, where's the? Oh, it doesn't want to go. Oh, weird. Full screen window. Options, game, graphics, cinematic mode. And like the important bits, those mods are odd. They are so odd, and they are beautiful. And that's probably why it was loading Mentos stuff day. Well, get used to the mods, because this is what we're using. Like, we can make beautiful things with these mods. For example, a mouse. Oh, it's clogging. Probably have to clean up some shit again from this computer. Copy to clipboard. Go mouse. But you get used to it. Before the days of these mods, I was a pure vanillist. But those days are over. Brrr. Incompatible weapons will be removed. I think I still have old weapons here, or like old turrets that are not supposed to be here. Let's see how chugging the sim speed is. That is bad. I did not know sim speed would be this bad for this thing. It still shoots things, so that's good. But yeah, it gives a completely different perspective on what looks good and what doesn't. Like if we compare this to my best Star Wars tank, I guess. What was it? The here, Republic tank thing. It's just, you know, it's nice, but it's not great-ish. But we're getting distracted. So, yes, we're using mods, although for ships, most of the ship itself... Let's see if my sim speed is going back up. Yeah, back is the sim speed. Hello. This is not acceptable. Quit without saving, enter in support mode, or install. Yes, we don't care. F8, I never built in engineer mode. Always building in this mode. I'm feeling a lot of stutter. Like FPS is somewhat drowning. W, it's like W. Yeah. Goodbye, mouse. See you next time. I have to redo some of the gun work, and you know, as with every major patch or update or mod change, you probably do it all over again. Try some new armor, try new stuff. But boats, we quality 1. Can I have like 0.5? 0.4. There's my FPS. Welcome back. Alright. So first things first, clear the hoppas. Good old regular armor. I always use it, the old fashioned. Wait. Is this right? So these are the main ones. Just start somewhere on the rock. Put it out there. Upsage. Then switch to a light gray for best vision, battered or anything. Like I usually start with battered. Make sure there is a symmetry line, and that is the start of our boat. Yay! Alright, I am gonna announce this on the server as well. Let's put this in ask for help. I was doing something like that. Moving canopy. What do we mean with moving canopies? For now we're not doing crazy shit, just basic boat stuff. And I believe if everybody just follows this link, alright, building a basic battleship. Where does that start? Choom choom choom. Okay. So on the mod list some canopies. Oh, like canop legacy? I don't know. It's like random stuff, usually for indeed jets or things like that. But we're building the Kinsbergen, so we're checking. So it's a 5 wider, so 5. Usually I put plates down, and I use this skin to see the orientation of the plates, because sometimes you want to shift orientation, and these have a nice orientation marker for them. Because even though they're all the same, they don't use a grid like normal blocks do. Then a handy trick for airtight compartments, as Aragav showed the other day. Your air tightness may vary, and you don't want, you want like a line of air tightness at your water line. And that means for this ship the water line is around here. And these are fairly open blocks. And we can use either the double ones, like we at least want one airtight surface. I believe these always have 2 at most. So always a top and bottom thing. So then you want to pick the one that has the least vertices, or looks the best, of course. The least vertices is, I think, this basic one. And then I would build it like mount points like this. That is a possibility. Means you have less problems when your ship is getting blown to bits. I'm just filling this layer up with these blocks, because you'll need as much float power as you can. And yes, float power is the real official engineering term. The deck. Also for decks, I just keep it with full blocks, like, because you want to mount stuff on it. You don't want it to be half blocks or anything weird like that. And the Van Kinsbergen is in full blocks on its main water area, 42. So I'm gonna make a ship that is 42 long, as you can see. That's only 36. 7, 38, 39, 40, 42. Ships are quite long. And this is, of course, not a battleship. This is a... what was it again? What was the class? They call it a cruiser in the game, but out of game, and in the game I mean World of Warships. Out of game, this is a... what was this thing? Kinsbergen. I had it. Sloop. A unique sloop, even. Okay. Well, now we have the general size of it. 5 wide, 42 long for the main parts. We're gonna add the side signature, which for the front mostly revolves around... alright, we have a 2x1 front, goes up 1, and we could like do like a little thing like this, but details like that I usually leave open to see, alright, is it usable, is it feasible, do we need it, or do we change that around a bit? And we have some mods available for us, so that is also a possibility. Then for the rest of the front, like this is the general shape. And to make this more flowy, I will probably just skip the half block and put the main block. And that does work. So this is slightly less accurate, but will make it look better in the end. Right, so we have a half block floor, like so. The floor is like that. Then the main deck is about 34 blocks long, so 33 extra, like so. And then the end area is actually a half block, which directly goes into a fairly steep curve. And now, is my flotation area correct? Yes, it is. So this is the blackish red layer. And you want most of your float to be on that layer itself. We have placed these as this. There's argument to be made that you do it like so, or like this. This will mean you won't be penned as easily because you have multiple layers of space left. But since you're already blocking the outside with panels, it's better to keep it like that. So the panel is the outside layer and then the in-between compartments are not. But this is advanced stuff. Let's keep it simple for now. You could also use walkways or things like that, because this is water mod. And I'm gonna even tone down the sound more. Because first we want our general shapes to be done. That means just armor blocks. Steep front means, let me go back to our top view. It is at 2.4 after the front. One, two, three, 4. Like so. And then it takes a whole, and then I'm just checking where the curve ends. So it's 10 in total. So let's see what 10 total looks like. 10 in total. I'm probably gonna do it like at first a step of 2 and then a step of 4 or 3. And probably 4 here works best. Even better, we start with a step of 3. It's fairly gradual, but now this curve is like almost completely continuous, and instead ships usually have a sharper curve close in front and then go more gradual afterwards. So 1, 1. And that's it after 10. Yeah, I think that's good. That is the choice you have to make. And on the end, it takes 3 to become a full block. So something like this would be logical. And then you can either choose. And then after, so let's say that 10 again. So it's a fairly similar, it's actually 12. So that is again where the main brunt of the ship will be, slightly past the forecastle's end. That's a boat. That's the general shape of a boat, and we just allow it to be slightly curved on the back as well. 3 and 4, and here we have 3 and 4. So it's now similar. I think we could stretch it like ever so slightly more. Usually for the back I like it to be more like this. 2, 4, 5. Okay. So it's basic stuff again. Not that important. It's just how does it look good with these gradual steps. And although on smaller ships it's less of a ideal look, on larger ships. Let me get a larger ship. We have the Eugen. We got a lot of Eugens. It's anime girls. I want this one. Let me check chat because I have all the things opened except for the chats. Hey Insidious. Let me check what you said real quick. How come you're building a battleship as 5 wide? Okay, so battleship was a very like for the layman's person, it's just a ship that does battle. So it's just a ship with guns. Officially, I'm building a sloop at the moment. And what I'm pasting in now is actually not a battleship, it's a battle cruiser, or I guess just a heavy cruiser. And it has outdated weapons. Blah, 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 blah. Designators, yeah, designators are currently off the scale. So this is my current only working Water 3 large, like really large ship, like full crew. Full-sized ship in a dig, and you can see like overall picture the stepping is not that obvious. Of course this stays a SCA, yeah, exactly. So but what I'm trying to share with all of you is what is shipbuilding. What are the basics, and you know, whatever size you're building, you still need a turret that rotates. You might have a control compartment, you need to stabilize it. So those steps will all be taken with that little thing, and it even will have a set of torpedoes. So yeah, that's Eugen. It is on the workshop, I believe. It could be that only my old Eugen is on the workshop, which is not floating. Alright. Yes, so let me check my model. What is the curvature? It's like fairly flat and then it suddenly goes up. So usually for 5 wides we have fairly flat and then we build from that. And suddenly goes up. I think that just will be like this. Otherwise, it's either that, or you do it, which means, oh, actually that could be good. Or you do it like this. And it depends a bit on how it flows into the rest of the ship. Usually you want the actual corners to be cornered. It will mean I have less space internally, because of course these blocks take up a whole block instead of a plate. That is also a consideration you have to make. Oh, hey, Destroyer Star, didn't see you there. PB I'm making. So yeah, maybe my title is misleading. Something like this. That's for general shape. Yeah, so I'm gonna just continue that trend downwards. So this needs to also be a 2x1 going inwards. And then we need these, otherwise it won't fit properly. And we can do both actually. I think for the brunt we give it like this as for its citadel. And then ease into the citadel with a slight slope. And that way you can have the best of both worlds. You keep the interior amount of area, while also making sure that your ship has some type of interior. Then I'm just gonna fill the deck layer, and since light armor does float on its own, there's not much we need to do with that. Of course there's something to be said to make more decks within the ship, and then you would use either passages or yeah I think passages, because they have even the like these half things, so you can walk through and even have it float a bit. So that's also what I like to do. Usually for the external main layer that is just above the water, I do like this. That means if it tries to go either direction, it itself will stop here, because there's a very strong flotation device on the corner. Line it with light armor panels or heavy armor panels, it depends a bit. Like light armor panels, of course, do they float on their own? They do ever so slightly. Heavy, on the other hand, do not. So though it's better armor, it's better to have the heavy plates in the critical areas where you want to have the armor properly, and the light plates where you think, okay, I will be shot here, but I want it to help me stay afloat. So usually anything above water is better. Nostrils? What does that mean? Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna just fill this up a bit, and not much to say about that. Let me just figure this out. Probably go back here. And you can see here that the transition into the fat area is nicer. If you do it half-half. I think something like this. you could make the lower area here heavy armor, or even this area. I prefer to do the heavy armor here, so you can actually use it as a protection against your valuable flotation layer, because that is what you're generating with a small ship like this, a layer of flotation rather than a set of compartments within it. Starts like this. And this also has to be eased in a bit. Like if we have it real sharp. Looks like a boat, but I'm now checking the Van Kinsbergen. It starts a bit like that, but it fairly quickly goes into a more you know, it becomes that flat area. So we have to transition from this sharp bow into an area that wants to be more rotund, let's say. It's probably nicest to do on a point where your ship gets wider on its own. Yeah. It's a fairly big area here. We probably are still transitioning from the main. Let's say transition of 3. That's for 4 here. Okay, so transition 4 we keep. And this is, you know, more experimenting, like, oh, what shapes work, what don't. And we actually just continue the pattern we were using to make this into, well, the shape we want. And now I'm looking at the reference and thinking, okay, this is too late. So we're gonna start actually to transition into the flat area here already. Meaning half block, full block. Yeah. That's more in line with what I expected the ship to be. And then the next transition will be... It's just personal preference. So whatever you guys do with boats, just make sure it kind of looks like it's flowing slightly. It looks streamlined-ish. So after 2 again. And that is where we will be at full width. So here we're still at semi-full width. We have these transition blocks, but I always forget where they're placed inside the game. So that will be in a moment. But we fill out all the major elements that are simple enough to just put in place. And that is also why I don't, you know, start directly with all the blocks, because you fill in the blocks that are needed afterwards. You can directly see, oh, I'm missing currently that one, and currently this one, and then you see, okay, that's just the rest I'm missing. Alright, so same development goes for the back. since the front is now mostly done, and this is actually almost everything here is full layer. Let me check the model again. It stops after 19 blocks, so 19 fill blocks. Just gonna put a 19 fill blocks, then it goes in like half, or like maybe a block. So the rest of the superstructure will be only this wide. And usually when you have something like this, you don't actually use full armor blocks here. You actually only use the panels and any windows you want to use. And you can use heavy again, but again, anything above water that has no real reason to be armored, just keep it light and empty. That all can stay empty. Usually in these transition areas you keep it a full block, something like that. And then let me check where the main superstructure ends. Like on top it is, instead of 19, it's at 16 and a half. 16 and a half. Layer on top as well, and then it goes just 3 up, and the tower is about too thick, and then we have like a half a layer of like these will be fences, but this is just to block out. So this half layer of that. And then it has a full thing here. Actually, something like that it shows. And then in front of that, it goes down. It has 1, 2, 3 full blocks. And then it becomes the front deck. That is already looking like a ship's outline. Okay, and it's just filling out your details from here. And this is how I go at it. Like, this is not, of course, the functional way. Like, if you would build a bridge, you would go for like interior, like how much do I need, how much people do I want to fit in. But yeah, I'm going for something that looks like a ship and is an actual ship, even though it's slightly oversized. Like, this is a 10% increase in what it realistically will be. But you know, engineers are, all of them are 2 meters long, so they're all like at least 10%, like 20 centimeters longer than the average human. So SE stuff is 10% larger than anything you would normally have. Is my head canon at the moment. Could change in a day, I don't know. Right. So, deck area. Now I have the 120 placeholder guns. Or is, what is it? A naval cannon? Yeah. Turret? What are these called these days? Yeah. So this is the placeholder I will put into their sockets. And this also helps me, again, blocking out the important bits. And of course, you could just use it like this and have a functional ship within seconds. These are legal in our game system. But they are also quite fragile, because the whole block is of course a thing to just blow up. That works quite well. They are incidentally the correct size for this ship. And there is also anti-air. What is it called? Dual. Yeah. So there's one 2 blocks away. It's incompatible. No. Yeah. So ship 20mm gun large. So we need a different turret. Like, can we still use vanilla turrets in this case? Yes, because they are replacing. So we take a turret, we call it the assault. Oh, that's huge. Haha. I could not remember that it would be this large. So we just use interior turrets as a placeholder for our glorious anti-air. So there's one anti-airy thing here. And there's one as we should put a plate here over here. Anti-air, that's at least the main batteries. Oh, and this was actually not the end of the main area for the ship. It's actually the area where the torpedo is being kept. Or whatever the flying fudgy thing it is. That goes from a half block to full block in, then a half block, yeah. So it's like this. There's a small gap there to launch things from. And then here there will be a few plates, because I'm very sure that this is just a outer edge that is only 5 long. 5. And then it stops. Good. And then what it doesn't do is this still uses like this area. And then I have to check the top view to see how the transition goes. So the end stock here is actually like so. As you can see, here is where I would make the decision that, okay, I am moving the ship's flow, like where it ends in the flat area, not there but here, because that will be a nicer rounded top area. It's easier to fill up with blocks, panels, you name it. And these are also plates going in. Finding the right one is always a chore. It's just a half one. Yeah, here, this one. Alright, that is the most simplistic approach. You still have area to walk amongst the ship. And this, I would actually make this the same. Yeah. Or, no, this has to occupy the same space. So actually, we're making sure that it goes like this, and the reason for that is that we can put fences down around it. So our plates go... Our plate... Oh, actually, we can just use these here. But the important part is that if you would have your railing, and we will use AWG railing instead of SE railing. Like only here you can start to occupy this space, so that is why we want it to be over here. And you can't use that one. I believe the devs of SE are actually making half compatible blocks more frequent. Because currently I think the regular railing does not have this set of blocks. Like we have full, double, going all the way through. Oh, we have a half one. We have a half one. Do we also have a... Oh, we have transition ones. Oh! Cool. So we have those these days, but I think these are more accurate. These are more accurate. These are actually ship railings that are specifically made for all purposes of boat stuff. Yeah, like these regular railings are a bit, you know, they're nice, but they are too rugged. Look, looks like a boat. And the nice part about this is we can just place on top of these, and that is why we want them upside down and not like occupying the tops, because we need to build things on it, and we don't need to build anything here really. Just a nice space to go around and to remove this area. Maybe make it into passageways, for example, so that you have a nice still a internal area while also having the top deck closed off. And this one needs to be here. Alright, but this doesn't float yet. That's not for the basics. So filling out shapes is easy. Let me go through before it gets way late, because I'm working on a night here. Let's cover some of the basics of doing your interior work. So at some point you want to have accessibility, and usually your turrets want to be accessible from the lower decks. You want to go up, so you need, you know where your ladder placements will be, know where your ship passages will be. And usually I allow access from the main decks always, like all the way front, all the way back. So something like a stairway right here could really improve your access to turrets. Go all the way back, you go all the way through, choosing either if you have a full filled up center. If there's anything important, for example between the torpedo launchers, I would normally place a heavy armor barrier, heavy armor or blaster block barrier. Yeah. But the rest can be open, and of course around your turret necks or things like that, go for blast doors, because blast doors don't deform, which is one of the major killers. And of course doesn't stay in place if you just have them there. But blasters don't deform if they get shot or damaged. So you want as much as possible to have non-deformable blocks around. So even these corners, I would not, like now we're making everything, but then use beam blocks. Beam blocks don't deform, are fairly similar in what you can do with them compared to light armor. And to give it a bit more ruggedness against shrapnel, put plates around, and you could, like, if you need the space, use half plates. This is usually like my setup for turrets. We don't have the like the inverse corner to have these connect, so I usually just keep it like this and then just make sure that the offset is a bit similar, and in that case just go for a full plate that's stronger. And for a small ship like this, it's even handy to use a passageway. Use the low poly one. And with the wall facing outwards, this way there's even a hitbox around your turret, barbette as it's called in ship terms. And we put a rotor, and with that I mean a large rotor. And then trying to remember what the front is again. Like you will figure it out by having, yes, the stripe. The stripe is the forward facing area of your turret. Remove the small bit. Always put your barbette way below, so that it is both protected by the water and protected by any layers above it. And apparently my main area has been disconnected somewhat. But that's easy enough to replace again. So we take the turret, place that area back. So that is deck access for that. Just armor panels, please. Armor panels or the other one, the passageway, and then either a single side passageway so that you can close it off while also adding a roof. It looks fairly chippy, and for these corners even I will use the beam again, because it looks fairly ship-like. It has the indication that it is somewhat of a top layer, and it doesn't matter that it's on the floor as well. Blaster blocks for armor that does not deform. And I probably even want our blaster blocks behind that. Yeah. To note that blasters, of course, are not full blocks, so you have a slight gap, which is alright, because we are again lining the top with heavy armor plates. So, main thing to remember from this: make sure that there are no deforming blocks anywhere close to your turrets. So even though they won't be close here or touching intentionally, don't ever have them. Alright. Then for ship power, there are many things to do. The battered hurts my eyes. Yes, let's remove battered and go to weldless. Battered is just so that we have a nice contrast between the types of blocks we're using. Because if we're using this, yes, it would look better. And this is probably the skin we'll be using in the end. At this moment, I could not tell directly, other than looking to where is it compared to the rest of the block, what block I'm using at this moment. And with normal blocks, or maybe carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is also harder. Concrete is all. It's no. Corrugated. So you see, like, the differences between the blocks becomes weird. Like, you don't see it. And if we have no armor panel like this, you could also go for the no skin. But I like the battered for building, because then I just instantly recognize it. And that's probably something that I am used to, and not so much a thing that is normal. Like, does this have a weldless skin? No. Like, you always keep the gray area, so it's good to have like fake things around, but nah. So battered, back to ugly. Let's go. Like, I'm not even thinking about colors yet. Or skins or whatever. Just shapes and functions. So we put rotors in. All turrets will be small grid. Let's make sure we have access to the lower area. And then we see, oh, the stair can't happen because we need our bar bed of the turret to go through. So that won't happen. Then here we still have every area locked off. So again, turrets, rotors. It's all the functional parts, and then we need to rotate it 360 or 180. No, it's now at a wrong angle. Stripe forward, yes, or like forward facing compared to the turret. Also forward facing, good. Good. Same goes for here. Blast doors around. These are just flat areas, so we take the beam blocks again. Beam blocks, or actually, I'm thinking this is more appropriate. They won't be as strong, but still a fair amount of components. And we could even decide that, hey, we want access on this layer, so let's make this all go through. But nah, not yet. And then again, a layer of heavy plates around. Same goes for the top here. Even though it might not be a full block high, it's how we do this. Yeah. And then you have to decide, okay, what is the interior? How am I gonna fill it in? And we now see, like, oh, this layer is like fairly low. Like, it feels a bit too cramped for a ship. So what I like to do then is make, instead of this middle layer, which is not needed as much for armor as usually, to make it either these blocks with Haas blocks in the middle, and of course then the whole thing comes down again. because it will look more like a spacious room, especially if we're standing in it. Like this kind of looks like a ship's engine area. And then we either have armor here or things that are fairly strong, like your gyroscopes or your or actually have a citadel and store your main ammo compartments in here. This is the widest part of a ship. So if you put like heavy armor around here, and for here it's less of importance that it is not deformable. Here we just want cargo containers. For example, this is the, like, for SE, ammo is your important bit. Like your engines and stuff, you have redundancy aplenty. You only need a few batteries, and I usually just put them in my smokestack. Nobody goes for the smokestack. Haha. And your redundancy comes from just having a forward engine and a backwards engine, for example. Like in engines, it's also very simple. Make sure you keep them low. Again, heavy parts go down your float line. Light parts and things that you want to access go on top. So any containers with repair stuff, things you want to quickly get to, top. The rest, bottom. And I probably will just make a symmetrical engine layout. Let's go to the next layer. Beep, 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 beep. Engine collector, also very important to suck up the water, and a generator. Engine first, generator goes second, and then your collector goes third. That will give you your main power source that is actually infinite. Like normally ships would have their whole bottoms and flotation armor lined with fuel. So in SE and B we don't care about your fuel storage, because normally that would not be an issue because everything will be in the hull. And then the thing that is left is your gyroscopes. Also put them nice and low. You can put them right directly here, maybe even around your rotor, which will give your rotor some extra oomph when protecting themselves. Of course there's no connection point here, so if the bottom of the rotor goes bye-bye, your rotor goes bye-bye. That's why usually you want either heavy armor around it, blaster blocks around it, or anything that you can pass through, because well, you might need to pass through here. And luckily you can if there's a small rotor top on the top. But you also want like your ammo storage that connects to your turret right here. So make sure that there is room around your rotor area to keep repairs up. Because sometimes repairs are the difference between losing and winning everything. Everything. So yeah, I will make another engine area over here. Have rotors or gyroscopes, not that much, like just enough. Another thing we need is water thrusters. So it's a water propeller. Yeah. So like these things can be internal. You also need them to stabilize. So I usually put one backwards, forwards, and then usually in the front of the ship. Like where nobody will see it, nobody needs it, all the way here. Will be another propeller. And then we just close that off with another armor block or a spawn kit or whatever. So since that armor block is not actually needed, I'm gonna leave it. And these are the things we need to make sure our ship goes the speed limit we have. And the speed limit is calculated by the width of your ship at its widest point within the water. So if I would have like a fairly chunky like submerged area, use that, but usually it's the waterline that counts. Alright, and so I'm gonna worry about my propellers later. What I'm gonna worry about is the aesthetic of the external propellers, which are a 3 scoop, and it is from the main area, like they're under here. So here are my propellers, and I think Randa made some nice ones, and they are golden. I'll go for the simple ones for now. So they will be here. And as you can see, they are now clipping. That is not nice. I don't like clipping propellers on my ships. So I have to figure out, either I want to keep these and deal with the clipping in a different way. So like making sure it's like the height is compensated. It's like these are a half a block high. I've got to check if that's actually possible to make in this shape. That's I don't want to use modded blocks. Like even that will make them clip, although not that obvious. And then the center line here, well, needs to go. But I do think these are fairly oversized for this boat. Although the 3 prop is nice. These are huge, large. Like, I don't think there's a different size model. So instead I will just use these good old regular made by Og water props, and they have connection points on all sides, even though their models suggest otherwise. And then we connect it. We do connect it with Randa's propeller mount piece shafty thing. Something like that. Ta-da! Slightly clip in, but nothing worth writing home about. And better yet, usually this will just be hidden within the rest of the ship, so you don't even see it. I think something like that would make the nicest of both things. Nope. Make it like this, meaning I want this here, and then, even though inaccurate, flow is important. Something like that. That looks like the end of a ship. Usually a submarine is more like this, but you can always go back in your creations and think, let's not do this like that, or change this to something like here. Always try to improve yourself if you're a perfectionist like I am. Alright. Right. So that is the basics for ships, I think. Like, you would make sure that every gap is of course filled. Your flotation layer has enough openings to float on. Like what I'm seeing now with this ship is that I'm actually needing, because my flotation layer is also my stress layer, or my weight layer. So even though I want to float on this area, I have to actually use some of the top area to also open up. Meaning I will have to use passages, for example, here. Since they are hollow. And I can use them like so. Since they are hollow, they will keep the ship afloat. And that goes for the whole layer. So both of them will have major hollow parts for the ship. So that it will actually function. Yay! Functional ships, I like it. Alright, that is this ship for tonight. I have been at it, so this was, I guess, just 1 hour of building with a lot of research for the actual shaping I wanted. I will try to... No, I don't have time tomorrow. So Sunday morning I'll be back. With hopefully the rest of the ship, and otherwise we'll see soon. I hope to have this ready for next casual event Sunday, which is the 3rd or 4th, Sunday 5th even. Sunday 5th. I hope to bring this and battle with all of you who joined tonight and who will watch this video later. Yeah. Let me check the chat real quick, because of course I have been ignoring you guys for a while again. It's hard to keep track of all the things. No, nothing else. Alright. Oh, no. Ships afloat. So, things to still do. Script to make sure the steering is done properly and the balance stays upright as long as you have power. Have some batteries extra for backup and to start up your engines. Of course the turrets and, well, the overall superstructure needs to have some kind of logical filling. Alright, guys, till next we meet. I hope to see you in SCNB. This Saturday I halas have other things to attend. But I will see you all very soon. Good night, or good morning, or good... Well, till next time. Bye bye.